Hello again everyone, and welcome to the channel BoomerangSimPilot. If you are new here, I'm a real-world Airbus pilot, and today I am excited to take you on a deep dive into the electronic instrument system on board the Airbus A320 families right here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Whether you are an aviation enthusiast, a fellow simmer, or someone preparing for your airline career, this video will give you an authentic, high-level insight into how the A320 family avionics work in real life and how they are represented in the sim. So buckle up and let's explore the brain behind the Airbus cockpit. Welcome back to the cockpit of Wizz Air Airbus A321. Today we are going to have a look and also have an introduction about the EIS or Electronic Instrument System of Airbus family on board this aircraft, and we have a look at how this system helps the pilot to monitor and have an interconnection and intercommunication with the other system, as well as flight parameters monitoring and also navigation parameters monitoring in the cockpit. Actually, the Electronic Instrument System or EIS present data on 6 identical display unit or DUs. The Electronic Flight Instrument System or EFIS displays mostly flight parameters and navigation data on the primary flight displays or PFDs and navigation displays or NDs. As you are familiar and you see here in the cockpit, we have 2 primary flight displays or PFDs, one in front of the captain and next one in front of the first officer. About the navigation data and also display, we have 2 NDs, just one in front of the captain and another one in front of the first officer. All of these 4 displays are related to the EFIS displays of EIS or Electronic Instrument System. We have another 2 displays that is in junction with the Electronic Centralized Aircraft Monitoring or ECAM, present data on the engine warning display or EWD on the upper side and the system display or SD, which located in the lower part of the ECAM section. But these 2 display, as you see, shows the pilots in generally primary engine indications, fuel quantity, flap and slat position, and also warning and caution alerts or memos. At the lower display, we can see synoptic diagram of aircraft system and status messages, as well as permanent flight data. When we zoom out of panel and also display, we can find some other panel and also parts that are related in EIS system. I present all of these items which are in related to EIS system to you. As you can see, on the Geller shield we have massive warning and caution lights. Here, as you see, we have massive warning in red, massive caution in amber, which are our attention gatherers in the cockpit. One massive warning and one massive caution in front of the captain on left side, and one massive warning in red, massive caution in amber in front of the first officer on right side of the cockpit. The next item is related to EIS control panel. Actually, EIS control panel, which you can see here and located on both sides of the FCU, helps the pilot to have a full control and also best selection about the EIS system or electronic flight instrument system, as same as navigation displays and also selection data on navigation display and also selection about the modes of the navigation display. The other item is primary flight display that we talked about, the navigation displays, engine warning display, system display, and switching panel. We can see switching panel here. We have 4 switch on switching panel just at the upper side of the pedestal. 2 of these switches, which are title of EIS DMC switching and also ECAM ND transfer switch, are in related to the EIS system and helps the pilot in case of failure of DUs and also display units have a good selection and actually get useful information about the EIS system and also displays. ECAM control panel, which is located at the lower part of the switching panel, again helps the pilot to have a good selection through the system for display and get information on system display unit. As I show you here, we have 2 speakers on both sides to generate and also introduce voices and caution and warning, which generated by flight warning computer into the cockpit and also to the pilots. These are most panels and also displays in the cockpit which are in communication with pilots. Except these items, we have 3 identical display management computers or DMCs, which located in avionic bay at the lower part and also beneath the cockpit area. DMCs obtain data from the different sensors and computers and send it to the display units, which talk already. The display units then generate and display the applicable images. Each DMC has a single DMC channel and can continuously supply one PFD, one ND, and both ECAM display units, engine warning display, and system display. Other computers which help the EIS on Airbus A320 families is System Data Acquisition Concentrator, or SDAC. We have two identical SDACs acquire data, then generate signals. Some of these signals go to the three DMCs, which talked already in the previous section, which use them to generate display of system pages and also engine parameters. Others go to the flight warning computers, which use them to generate ECAM messages and aural alerts through the loudspeakers. We have also two flight warning computers. Flight warning computers generate alerts, messages, memos, aural alert, and also synthetic voice messages. For this purpose, they acquire data directly from aircraft sensors or system to generate red warnings through the red attention getter, and also through the SDACs to generate amber caution via amber attention getter. Also, the flight warning computers, or FWCs, also generate radio height callouts and decision height callouts and some other callouts through the cockpit. Attention getters, we talked already about this and show you these two attention getters on the left and two of them on the right. The flight warning computer also drive the attention getters. Each pilot has a set of these on the panel under the color shield, as I show you already. They are at the upper side with the red indication, a massive warning light that flashes massive warning. Again, I bright those up. Massive warning light will flash with the massive warning, as you see, in red for red warnings, and also master caution light, which illuminate master caution in amber for amber cautions. Also, loudspeakers, which provide the communication through the loudspeaker, announce aural alert and voice messages, and do so even when they are turned off. Actually, whenever the loudspeaker through this switch, which is a controller of loudspeaker to off and also on, and control the volume from, as you see, off position to the max volume. Whenever this switch is selected to off, some of the aural messages and also synthetic voices are generated through the loudspeaker. Even this switch is switch selection is on off selection. On the right hand side, we have an control switch for the loudspeaker for the first officer, which control the loudspeaker of the right side. Okay, perfect. And right now we have go to introduction about some panel and also other items of EIS system. About controls and switching, we have ECAM control panel, or ECP, which talk about it later already. Sorry. The ECAM control panel, which is this panel on the top of the pedestal, includes such engine warning display control, which is as a control, a status, and the brightness control knob. The brightness control knob is located here. As you can see, the pilots can introduce the brightness from dim to bright through this knob, and also to selection of clear and also a status switch here for engine warning control, and also for the system display control we have some switches here, as you see, for the engine, bleed, pressure, electronic, hydraulic, fuel, APU, air condition, doors, wheels, flight controls, and the remaining switch is all switches. And also we have a brightness control knob here that pilots can adjust the brightness of the lower display or system display unit. We have EIS DMC switching selector, which located here, a switch near the center of switching panel, which is located just above the ECAM control panel right here. Enable the flight crew to replace the captain or first officer display management computers. Okay, disregard this warning about the connection of internet and poor internet connection. Through this switch, the pilots can replace DMC1 and DMC2 with the DMC3 for any selection. Another switch is at the right side of the EIS DMC switch with the name of ECAM ND transfer, which is a switch on the right hand side of the switching panel for enable the flight crew to transfer the ECAM system display to either the captain or first officer navigation display. We will work with this switch later on this video, and you can see that how this both switches helps the pilot for other selection through the navigation display, and also other change the ECAM actually display units together. For the FE switching, which related to the PFD and ND, on both sides we have the PFD ND transfer push button, which is located here. PFD ND transfer is a push button switch. We have two of each assembly of this switch, one of them on the left side and also the next one which located on the first officer side. On each side console, enable the pilot to swap display to the respective on-side DUs. Okay, let's go through change the selection, and also we have a other selection than normal. As you see right now, we have a normal selection of EIS system through these 6 display about EFIS and also ECAM panel and displays. Let's go about the reconfiguring display units, that in case of reconfiguration, how the switching and also switches and also good selection of these switches helps the pilot to have a good indications in the cockpit. First of all, we have go for failure of upper ECAM DU, which is engine warning display. Or whenever this switch about the brightness or this knob is selected to off, and also we do not have engine warning display on upper side of the ECAM section. If the upper ECAM display fails or is switched off. As you can see here, I turned the switch to off. What happened here? The engine warning page automatically replaces the system status page on the lower ECAM DU. From the upper side, the image of engine warning display jump into the system display, which is located in the lower part of the ECAM display section. The flight crew can display the system status page, which is previously presented here on system display, using the ECAM ND transfer switch, which means this switch with that selection to the captain side. You can see the engine warning display remain on system display at the lower part of the ECAM display, and system display, which previously indicated at this area, is jump to the navigation display here by selection of this switch. I return back this switch to normal and select it to the first officer side, and you can see the navigation display of the first officer replaced by the system display, which previously located at the lower part of the ECAM display. Okay, let's back to have the system display on the left side. This is the first condition that pilots can helps to have system display on in view on a navigation display. For this selection, when you have pushed on ECAM control panel any selection of the switches, you can totally have an indication as a normal about the selection of switches related to the system with no limited of time on navigation display which previously switched on. But let's have to other selection. If during approach, for example, the captain and first officer needs their NDs for navigation, and any other cases, as you can see, I push the delete page, for example, and release. The engine warning display replaces again on delete page when the pilot selected. See again, I select the delete page and release. Engine warning display will replace again. But when pushing and holding for maximum 3 minutes, a system, the selection page which will replace the engine warning display whenever you press the button and maintain and hold the button. When I release the button, again engine warning display replace the system display as a concept that designed by Airbus. Push and holding for a maximum 3 minutes, the related system page push button on the ECAM control panel to temporarily display it on the lower ECAM DU instead of engine warning display, as we check it already. Let's back to the normal condition and turned on the upper ECAM panel, which is engine warning display, and go through the failure of lower ECAM, which is system display, or whenever the control or brightness knob turned to off. Let me to self-test of the display. Engine warning display completed. Okay. we can go to turn off the lower ECAM display or system display. With this selection, or if the system display unit failed, there is no change of this system display on engine warning display. Engine warning display shows the primary condition of engine as well as EPR, N1, EGT, fuel flow, N2, and many other essential parameters about the aircraft and also engines. This selection or engine warning display is a primary indication for ECAM section. For this definition, the engine warning display has priority over system display. As you see, at the failure of the system display, there is no change for auto replace system display on engine warning display. I say again that engine warning display has priority over system display in ECAM displays. If the lower ECAM display fails or is switched off, the flight crew can display the system status page by using the ECAM ND transfer on the switching panel to display on navigation display. As before, when we select the ECAM ND transfer switch to, for example, captain side, we can see the system display on navigation display. It is a perfect setup during cruise and low workload condition. You can see with no limitation of time, all systems pages here on navigation display when the switching selected. I back it to the normal and return to the right side for first officer, and you can see the first officer on his panel and on his navigation display can see the selection of the system display pages which want to see. Okay, let's back to the normal selection of ECAM ND transfer switch, and the other selection is as same as before with push and hold for a maximum of 3 minutes the related system page push button on ECAM control panel, and you can see that temporarily display of the selected page will appear on the upper ECAM DU instead of engine warning display. For example, I select right now the air condition page. Whenever I push this page on ECAM control panel, the page related page will appear on engine warning display. As soon as I release the push button, the engine warning display due to higher priority will replace on instead of page that already selected by the crew. Okay, let's go to turn up the lower ECAM display or system display, and after the 40-second self-test we will go through the failure of both ECAM DUs. We can see that in case of failure of engine warning display and also system display, how pilots can deal with this failure for switching of ECAM and also indication of engine parameters display and also system display. Let's turn off the upper and also lower ECAM displays, and what will be happen now? If both ECAM display fail, the flight crew may use the ECAM ND transfer on the switching panel to display the engine warning page on a navigation display, and For example, I use the ECAM ND transfer switch here for have the engine warning display. As I mentioned you, engine warning display has priority over system display. I selected the engine warning display and all through the ECAM ND transfer switch to the captain side, and you see ND or navigation display replaced by engine warning display on the left side. If needed, push and hold for maximum of 3 minutes the related system page push button on the ECAM control panel will temporarily display to the system status page of the ND. For example, I need the secondary parameters of the engine. I select the engine page through the ECAM control panel, and you can see the engine page replaced by the engine warning display page. As soon as I release the push button on the ECAM control panel, the engine warning display will replace automatically again. I'm going to have a, for example, door page. Whenever I push the push button of door page in the ECAM control panel, the door oxy page will appear on navigation display on the left side. As soon as I release the door page on ECAM control panel, again engine warning display will replace on navigation display of the captain side. I return back the ECAM ND transfer switch to normal and select to the first officer side, and you can see all the condition about the EIS control panel of left side is normal, but on the right side navigation display on the first officer panel is replaced by engine warning display, and also we can temporarily push and maintain for at least for less than 3 minutes on ECAM control panel for any selection about the pages of ECAM through the ECAM control panel. Okay, that's good, and let me to turn on the ECAM DUs or display units, and for the next reconfiguration going through the PFD and ND reconfiguration. If PFD failed, for example, I turned left side PFD to the off position, or in case of failure, the system automatically transferred the PFD image to the navigation display unit, because PFD has a priority over the navigation display on Airbus A320 families. We can do the selection, another of this selection, by PFD ND transfer switch, which located here. As you can see, with a single push, the ND will replace with no limited of time and limitation of time on ND here. And if you want to use ND again, you can again press the PFD ND transfer to replace the ND again. Okay, let me turn on the PFD and let's do the self-test of the primary flight display. Maximum 40 second time will take for this self-test, which is in progress right now. And whenever the DU comes up, you can see the selection of the EIS display units, which At this time, PFD transferred to the right DU, and also navigation display transferred to the left DU. For back this selection to the normal, it's enough to again press the PFD ND transfer switch and everything goes as normal. If we turn the ND switch to the off, you can see that in case of ND failure or switch selection in off, the pilot can use the PFD ND transfer switch. Right now you see that the primary flight display doesn't replace by navigation display, because as I said, the primary flight display has priority over navigation display. But in case of failure of navigation display, you have a chance to have navigation display here by PFD ND transfer switch. And again, if you want the primary flight display, you can again press PFD ND transfer switch to have a primary flight display here. Okay, let's go to power up the ND display or unit or navigation display unit. It was a brief video for the first section of EIS or Electronic Instrument System of Airbus A320 family. I will prepare another videos about EIS system in detail for EFIS, for ECAM, and many other items in the next upcoming video. Again, thank you for joining me today on BoomerangSimPilot. And if you do not subscribe the channel yet, appreciate it to subscribe. And also, if you like this video, hit thumbs up button to like this video for most and more energy for me, and also click the bell to have a notification for upcoming video by BoomerangSimPilot. Thanks again, my friend and also channel subscriber, for joining me on today's video, and see you soon in the near future on next videos. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride on board BoomerangSimPilot channel.